Hi everybody, I am here with another spiritual message. I am, it's another story time. I have written down an excerpt from my life, and I hope that this message helps and resonates with, someone out there who has experienced this and needs to know that they're not the only one. I'm going to get started. The message goes as follows: Forgive them, for they not know who they are or who they are not. If you didn't have these people, you wouldn't have had anybody. But since you didn't have them, you were alone. Some of us were born into families of our soul's enemies. This is Capricorn 12th house energy, the house of hidden truths. The hidden truth is that most of the time, the truth is only hidden from you. Everybody knows how pure-hearted you are and how favored you are by the universe. And throughout time, they grow to hate it. For some of us, we were aware that this was transpiring, but because these were the people closest to us and the people that we love the most, we didn't quite perceive this at first as what was occurring. So say for instance, you notice early on as a child that the members of your household all seem to have the underlying issue with you. But the problem was you couldn't quite figure out what the issue was. You also begin to notice that when you grew into your expression and your siblings grew into theirs, your perception and outlook on life was slightly different from theirs. A lot of people with Capricorn in that 12th house also has an abusive father within the home. I had an abusive father within my home who also abused drugs. He was physically on drugs. Like I said, he abused my mother and my brothers, and he did this randomly. He didn't necessarily need a true reason to do so, but most of the time the reason was because my mother had told him no. I had only been hitten by my father maybe twice. I had noticed this, and I noticed that it was happening to my brother and my mom every other day. Excuse me. In moments when my dad would explode on the whole household and hit everybody for whatever reason, it seemed as if he was afraid to hit me. This is when I began to notice the separation taking place between me and my brothers because we were very close. I started to feel them notice that I wasn't being hit by my father while they were being physically abused all the time. I began to notice that a part of them were becoming resentful. This made me feel guilty I felt sorry for what they were going through. And I understood why they felt that way. But because I wanted them to like me and I wanted their approval, I started to do whatever they asked of me. And this lasted in my household for years. And when I was 12, around the age of 12, I started to begin to notice that my mom was starting to operate within that same pattern of making me overextend myself in order to receive her approval. And if I did not do that, then she would verbally and emotionally abuse me like everyone else. But either way, at that point, I became like my family's own official slave. And this was very, very exhausting. I very very early on, I began to notice that parts of me and my essence was diminishing, and I began to start to age while still being very young. I started to get aches and pains in my fingers and my wrists, my joints. But I knew that I was being drained, and I understood why I was allowing myself to be drained. And it was because everyone around me was hurting, so it was sort of like my way of paying my dues and wanting to feel um, connected, connected to everyone. But if I knew then what I knew now, which I do understand that there would have been absolutely no way of me knowing because it was hidden. For a lot of us, it's the ones closest to us that the universe is putting up against us to teach us a divine lesson and to show us who we truly are. For some of us, the battle begun the day that we were born. And because you had a higher purpose and God had to prepare you for a war, you had to experience pain on a transformational level in order to morph into the divine being that's called, that has been chosen to lead a spiritual army. And do understand that many are called, but few are chosen. Some people that are called to awaken and ascend and meet their higher self in this lifetime never do it. They can't. It's hard. It's not easy, and that's not their fault. And understand, nobody has the power to hurt you more than your day ones. Whatever you thought that you couldn't handle, God knew you could, and so you persevered. And even though some of us knew exactly who we were and how special we were at first, throughout the years, everyone around you somehow eventually convinced you that you were worthless. This activated your 12th house of your birth chart. And because those around you knew that you had it right all along, they also were now aware that the truth had been hidden from you. Now it's up to you to discover self and the truth about who you truly are, because you are chosen. We can't remain in the dark like everybody else. Your soul won't even allow you to. You are being forced to find the light. There is no other option. But remember how exhausting it was trying to please those around you, just so that you knew what it felt like to be appreciated on any level. So now you're tired, but you still gotta go out and step into adventure time mode on the road of self-discovery. But eventually you realize that you always knew who you are, who you were, and you know who you are now. But now the task and what you have to figure out now is, how do you convince self that it's safe to come out? The damage is so deep, but the healing comes when you forgive them, for they knew not who they are. They were divinely guided to help you grow. Remember, God is most high. And the opposition, Capricorn, Saturn, devil energy, is beneath the most high. Nothing is done that the most high does not will to be. So love thy enemy. God does not operate in right and wrong, good or evil. God has a plan. And everybody is just fulfilling their role. You got to be strong and wise enough to understand that you can't attach yourself to experiences, because those experiences had their purpose. And if life was so hard on you, but you can stand here today and say that you couldn't have never imagined becoming the person that you are today, 11:33 on the clock, then you need to rejoice in life and understand that life made you who you were. I would do it all again. I love my family. I love my family from the bottom of my heart. I would do it all again, because they only had a certain level of awareness, and they were being abused in a way that would have altered their state of mind in regards to what reality truly was. So it wasn't their fault. Love thy enemy. Let's heal, let's grow together. Be blessed. This was coming from yours truly, the Empress Caress. Ashe.